But then you have people like you said. I mean, they can smoke their whole life. They don't exercise. They don't do anything. They live to their 83.
Yeah, you'll see.
They just died.
Jean Grey, she's 110 years old. What was your diet? Bourbon, cigarettes.
What's your advice?
Damn.
One Coca-Cola a day.
Oh, yeah, okay. One Coca-Cola and some schneef.
You know, hey, it's like the late 1800s medicine. Yeah, right. Give your baby some whiskey and here's some powder for you. It'll make you feel better.
I know. Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tom.
And it's a beautiful Sunday morning.
It's not windy or rainy.
Yeah, happy daylight savings.
Yes, happy to you as well.
So we gained an hour of sleep.
We did gain an hour. Well, I didn't go to sleep till like 2, which is weird for me. But I
was going to text you last night to see if you wanted to do a podcast, but I thought it was too late because it was like 12:30. I'm playing video games.
I was up really late. That would have been kind of fun, actually. Yeah, I was playing games too.
Yeah, I was playing.
Which I don't do much anymore.
I was playing Gotham Knights. I've been playing that.
Yeah,
that's a co-op 2-player game too. I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it's a new game. It's cool. It's fun.
Nice. Yeah, I pulled the Xbox out of Elliot's room because I'm just like, this is crap. I can't play. I love Red Dead Redemption and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
I can't play it because it's in his room and he doesn't need that. So
yeah,
I took it back.
Yeah.
But you know what makes me mad about daylight savings? That was actually the first note I made for today. Washington State voted like 2 years ago to stop changing the time. Yeah, and all the evidence supports not changing the time.
Didn't it go to like the Senate and just didn't pass the House or some shit?
They haven't even voted on it for some stupid archaic reason. Back in the old days when they first enacted this. So, do you know the history of daylight savings? I feel like maybe we talked.
We talked about this last year around daylight savings.
So, I just don't remember. Pissed off about it, but we're gonna rehash.
I thought it was a World War II thing.
It was a World War I thing.
One. That's what it was.
I think Germany started it because at that time.
Oh yeah, it's just listen to a Nazi.
Right. This is pre-Nazi, but still,
okay.
I mean, to some degree. No, but so they had enacted a law that changed the time so that there was more daylight during the hours that people were awake to save on fuel, so more fuel could go to the war effort. That was a great idea at the time because there was a lot of fuels like fossil fuels and stuff like that, right? So at the time, it made more sense. Well, now our energy grid has shifted to the point we're not using the same types of energy, right?
Yeah.
Aircraft carriers are operating on nukes. Like, I mean, it's just
cars are running on electricity.
By dams. It doesn't matter day or night. They're going to operate, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense anymore. But there's an old law that the Congress, federal Congress, has to approve any state leaving it. Which I'm just like, why don't they just do away with that? Listen. Dan Newhouse, who's our representative right now.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you push for a law where you just stop having the federal government let states leave and states can just decide to leave? Maybe there's a counter argument to that. I don't know. But why are we waiting? We already
know because I don't think Hawaii has it like Arizona.
No, I know Arizona does change time, but it's weird. It's off from the standard that we do. And
do they? I thought it's because when we change.
Oh no, you're right. That is what it is. Because when we change,
they stay the same.
That's what it is. So whatever.
It's like an hour or two.
It's an hour off. Or
it's
like
an hour.
Usually
then 1 year. It's a 2 year.
It's 2 hours off.
And then it's 2 years off. It's fucking crazy.
But I mean, it's like it doesn't functionally matter, right? I mean, like really, we're in a world now where like you just kind of work when you work, and like I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
All I know is. It still gets dark late.
Well, and apparently,
it's not saving no daylight to me.
More people get in car wrecks right after daylight savings time. Like when we do this shift in the next week, there's going to be more collisions with deer, as I learned from
Bob and Tom. I heard that on Bob and Tom.
And
yesterday, or was it Friday or something?
Yeah, there's more car crashes in general during that time. Apparently, it's like, what do we get from this? It's bad for your sleep. Overall, bad for your health.
It is bad for your sleep, dude. I woke up. So I went to bed at like around the same time as you did, 2-ish, because it's my daughter's 20th birthday. So happy birthday, Sadia!
Happy birthday.
So we were getting stuff ready for that, and then I was like, all right, going to sleep, and then it changed to 1, which was that's a mind trip, by the way.
Yeah,
seeing that it's 2:00, mentally it's 2:00, and then it's 1:00.
Right.
I'm like, that's like the closest thing to time travel. ever for me.
Right.
I just went back in time.
Back in time an hour.
I just started making these balloons again.
And then I'm going to go forward in time.
Yeah.
In a few months and be really pissed off.
But so it went back, and then my dogs still think it's the same. So my dogs around 7:15, they'll
now
start whining. I need to get up. So that's what happened. 6:15.
Because time didn't change for them.
Didn't change for them.
Because they're not stupid.
Well, it didn't even change for my body. Like I woke up, even though I only got like 2 hours sleep. Even though I went to bed so late, my body was just like, well, 7:15. Like, right. Let's get up.
And for what? For what purpose? So we have a little more light podcast in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I got up early to do the podcast.
It doesn't matter. We have electric lights in every house.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's lights. There's street lights. Like, it doesn't freaking matter.
I just wish we could get back to the days where I'm walking around with my little fucking hat at night, a little something with my candle on a little stick. You know what I mean?
I just want to wear my petticoat.
I just want to look like Ebenezer Scrooge at night.
Bid you good day or good morrow or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
I bid you good morrow.
Good morrow, sir.
I want to get back to those days, and then I trip, and then my house catches on fire because the candle.
Can you imagine back in those days?
How many house fires did they have back then?
They had to have a ton. But back in the days when they lit the tree with candles on it, that's like the tradition in Germany a long time ago. They put candles on their Tannenbaum, and like those things are like
no wonder it's called a bomb.
Right? I know. Oh boy. Yeah, good times.
Can you imagine if you didn't water that bitch?
Good times back then. Well,
because what happens when you don't water your trees now?
How great could the apparatus have been back then that they used to water the tree?
Right? They couldn't have been that dumb, though.
You'd hope not.
Like, let's put this flame near a tree.
Your tree's getting a little dry, but still, this is tradition. We need to get the candles out. Yeah. Dude, there's a reason we came up with electric lights.
Have you ever lit a tree,
like seen
Christmas tree? Like, so every year when we do our Christmas tree, we get a new one.
Yeah,
a new one. We get a fucking fresh tree, kind of.
Right. Well, you buy a live tree.
We buy a live tree. We love it. It smells great. I know you can buy inserts to make them smell, but it smells good. But every year around, March, when we finally take the tree down, we throw it in the fire pit, and that thing catches on fire like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Yeah.
Well, we take it down like my wife. I'm joking. By March. By the way, people, my wife, if December 26th, actually, it's gone. Like there's been a Christmas where my wife is tearing down Christmas stuff
on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day,
it's over, folks.
No, I'm not even joking. Halloween was the same way. Well, it's the next day, November 1st. Shit was getting torn down in the house, which is a good thing to do. But Christmas, come on, man, you got to keep that shit up until New Year's.
I mean, come on, like it's then what do you have to look forward to? Nothing. It gets
nothing.
Yeah, bleak winter.
Yeah, from January to when's the next cool ass holiday? Easter.
Yeah,
fucking rabbit.
Which is only really like 3.
Which I never understood Easter.
How we got from Jesus is risen to
the
Easter bunny.
I remember Jim Gaffigan did think about that. There's gonna be a bunny.
I think we should have a bunny. Oh, and he gives you candy.
And he lays eggs.
Yeah, he lays eggs and gives you candy. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I know. It's like I don't get where the rabbit and all that came from. Like,
I don't know
the history of Easter.
Except
for the Jesus aspect.
Why do we even celebrate Easter? What is that good for? I get the and it's I do like that there is a non-religious aspect to it that gets everybody involved.
Which we like Easter. We always do a big old Easter egg hunt. I won't mow, because your grass starts growing around then.
Right.
I will not mow until after Easter
because those eggs.
Yeah. Oh, in our backyard.
Then you go mow over it and bling, bling,
every year. So our backyard, we don't like play out there because it's like a lot of hills and it's our backyard. But the grass during the springtime really takes off. I don't have like irrigation back there, but it'll take off, and then the grass is fucking tall as shit. And we'll lose eggs. We'll count the eggs. Okay, there's 200 eggs. Oh, we're missing like 3 eggs. We look, but it's like whatever.
Right.
And then, sure enough, I'll go and weed eat and do some stuff to kind of keep it down before like it gets crazy. And I'll find it usually. Yeah.
When we were kids, we did like real eggs. You hard boil them and then you dip.
Yeah,
them
we'll
in
do
all
that. A few of them.
We'd do that, and we'd go to our grandma's, and they would have like, I don't know, like 4 dozen eggs or something hidden everywhere. And it was always like middle of summer. All of a sudden, you'd come across an egg, and if it happened to break open, it was not good.
Raunchy.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So
that stinks. Yeah, we'll hide those eggs here and there. I think we've used those eggs and made like deviled eggs or potato salad out of them.
Oh yeah. Usually that's what we would do, and it's funny because on the inside of the eggs kind of like colored, but it's good.
It's just food coloring. It should be good for you, maybe.
Yeah, but I think that's what my parents or my mom and my grandma and everybody. This is when we were real young.
Oh yeah,
but they would make them up. We used to do when we were really little. They lived right down by Park Middle School.
Oh okay.
So where Sophia and Eddie live.
Oh yeah.
They lived in the neighborhood right next to them.
Okay.
So on like 11th, I think.
Yeah.
And so we would just walk to the school and play a little like T-ball
that's cool.
game.
That's fun.
Back when I didn't mind playing T-ball.
See, I always hear these cool family stories, like, and we've talked about this before, like Alicia, their family had little traditions here and there. Your family.
I am more of a tradition guy than I think my parents were. I don't know why.
I don't know. Just hold something. And then like Blanca's like families, for the most part, some of them are pretty traditional in a sense with certain things, I can't think of anything like my family. I don't remember celebrating. I know we didn't celebrate Halloween.
Right.
Because that's the devil's day. Satan's going to get you.
Yeah.
But we never did that. I don't think we ever fucking did Easter. We went to church.
Well, and
we did our Easter Day service.
Right, but there are Christian religions that don't believe in celebration. They believe in prayer, but not the celebration.
Yeah, and I don't know if my church was that way. Yeah. It's just something we just never did. We never went Easter egg hunting, Obviously, I was, I'm a cool-ass teenager. I ain't going to do that stuff. Sorry, Mom. I'm going to go mac on some hoes. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, that's fine. I'm not hiding you eggs anyway.
But, like, no, I don't remember my brother and sister even. I think they went Easter egg hunting one time with one of the ladies from church. I can't remember her name.
Well, often churches will do some sort of Easter, Easter egg hunt for the kids.
Find baby Jesus. Find Jesus and see if you can make him rise. If you find
a psalm and can read it, you get a candy. Kids.
Find mummified Jesus and raise him from the dead. Can you imagine that game?
That would be kind of fun. Yeah.
Roll the tomb. You got this pin that tail on the donkey. You got to roll the tomb off the fucking Jesus.
Kids, go try to
grave.
move the rock. It's gonna take a lot of you. It's heavy. It's heavy, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, it's to scale.
It's a real rock.
We made a wheel out of it.
Oh man, I think we did have so we went to a church that I don't really go anymore. I'll say the pastor retired. I mean, he was pretty. He was elderly.
I'm like, when did you ever go to church? I don't.
When I was a kid.
Oh yeah, I'm like, because you're like,
yeah, I don't go anymore. But as an adult, we've gone just when someone's gotten married and they had a mass or those types of things. I don't. I won't be like a church hater. I just,
it's not your thing. I got you.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
I mean, no disrespect. It's just I believe it's a personal thing, and I don't think everybody needs church the same way. But anyway, so
I agree.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, as a kid, there were some really cool things that my church did, and I think it still does. They do the Living Nativity in wintertime, and it's like this really cool play that they would put on. So you'd go. When I was really little, it was actually in the church itself. It was a pretty big church campus. They were like, it was almost like a mini college campus. It was the Cathedral of the Desert, and then it turned to the Cathedral of Joy, and now it's like Hill Springs or something. I forget.
Cathedral sounds.
It was a really cool building. It was built in like the 70s, but
I was going to say it sounds like a cool ass church.
Well, it had these huge windows, and it did have this like tall cathedral ceiling, but it was modern, not like old. But these huge windows. And so it was very cathedral-y. Yeah. And we would go on Christmas Eve, and I remember being young enough. Actually, it wasn't Christmas Eve that this would happen. Sorry. There was a thing they would do Christmas Eve, but that was different. So this play, essentially, it was scary because when you're like 4 years old, they'd bring like the Roman soldiers through.
Oh, shit.
And so you're sitting in the aisle, like whatever, and these Roman soldiers who are meant to be scary because they're the ones that killed Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So they're walking in.
Is Jesus carrying the cross and all that? Do they show all that?
He does.
Oh, that's cool.
So there were times where he would carry the cross through and like somebody's like whipping him. It was like intense. Like as a little kid, it was scary. I mean, I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I didn't want to sit by the aisle because the soldiers, they're just guys from the church. They're probably like, but in your mind at that age, it's
they're
like,
probably playing some very like music-y.
They
like,
are. I mean, it's like it's very
bassy. And,
and even as an adult, thinking back on it, like it was a big production. They would sell tickets to the community and everything.
That's cool.
So, and I think they still do it. But anyway, so they would come in and they would do the whole thing inside, and then you'd go outside, and the actual like birth of Jesus then would be done there. So depending on what
Mary's
the story was,
birth.
that was. I'm so stupid. I think
that's Christmas.
I think that part was Easter. Sorry. So the crucifixion didn't happen then.
Yeah, I got you.
But it was the same kind of thing. Like they would really build up the Roman idea of that. And then you'd go outside and you would see Joseph and Mary on like a real donkey. They had real camels. They had real horses. Like they have this whole garden outside.
Big old production.
And you would hear like, and like the horses like really running.
Dude,
and then
which
the
is
soldiers
a
would be up and they'd be looking down and then they'd talk to each other and whatever. And then they'd ride off. And you'd hear them like they're going to report that this thing is happening. Right. And so then after that, you see this angel, like they had this platform that would rise up and they had like these strobe lights and fog. And the angel comes up and is like, Mary, you're going to have whatever, however the story worked. I feel like I'm getting it way out of order, but regardless.
They went from the birth of Jesus to the death of Jesus.
Unfortunately.
It was a 30-year...
Jesus died first, then he was born to Mary, but the angel forgot to tell her till after the birth. He got a little drunk on a weekend.
I know Joseph was very concerned. Like, you cheating whore. And then the angel's like, oh, sorry, I forgot it. A little thing, I forgot it. She didn't have sex with anybody.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's okay, man. It was totally God. God did it. So, you know, the whole Zeus thing, it was kind of like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was, my point being, it was a really cool production.
No, it sounds like really cool.
Still go to church like that. That was always, I mean, up until like high school, I think we went every year.
I like theater stuff. Like I wish I could like go to like plays and stuff because I did theater in school. I wasn't very good at it, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I really appreciate.
I've always enjoyed watching plays. I think to act well on a stage is a difficult thing to do.
I acted not well. I was too shy. Yeah. Like I can't do that. Like, but like watch. I've seen a couple plays here and there, and it's just so cool. You know? Like the guy who played Candyman, I watched a play he was in. Like Broadway style. You know? It's really cool. Yeah. One of my technicians is really into Brian. He's really into that stuff. So he was actually writing a script, and he's actually done some plays around here.
Wow,
like acting,
like the Richland Theater.
Yeah, he's done some of that stuff. Like he's been in plays, I guess.
Nice.
But no, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was neat.
They're like, all right, the birth of Jesus, boom, we're gonna go 33 years, and he's dead.
1 year. So then eventually they built a larger gym, and so I don't know if it was larger for whatever reason. We went to the gym, and they did one. Like the story started to change. So like 1 year, I remember they did like World War I or World War II. There's a famous story where it was Christmas Eve, and both sides stopped killing each other in this moment of just like celebrating Christmas. Apparently it's a true story.
And then the next day they went
back to war, but that one night they decided not to kill each other, and I don't remember if they just celebrated together or if they just called a truce for a night.
Drinking with your enemy?
Whatever it was. And then the next day you're like, that was fun, buddy. Pow.
Dude, this guy, Boris is a good guy.
Yeah,
but
this guy is great. But, sorry, dude, it's over. Yeah, but that was kind of neat. And then it went into like, the story of Christmas. So they did a really good job. And then I went to a play. I was living with my aunt after college for a while over in the Puyallup area. Brian, my cousin that was on the other weekend, his mom. And she liked this. This church did a big production of A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
So with Ebenezer Scrooge and all that. And we went to that. It was really good. That was fun to watch because I love that story. I read the book a lot, and
I haven't read the book, but I do like the story of
Charles Dickens. You know, it was all about the working man that was like kind of
overworked,
dirty, gross, like 1800s England and all that. Hello, God.
I want to say I have a Dickens book. Yeah. I just don't know which one it is.
Yeah,
and I haven't read it. I think I have it just because I can say I have it.
Right. Yes, Dickens. Yes,
Charles Dickens. I read
my petticoat and read Dickens.
Emily Hathaway, or what was his name? Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway. Sorry,
Arnold Hemingway. I think. Yeah. He was the governor of California. Right?
Arnold Hemingway. I got his book too. Trying to act smart in front of people. Got my corn pipe.
Yes.
Who had the pipe? Was it you?
I don't have a pipe. Huh?
No. For we had our Halloween party on Saturday.
Oh no, I had a paint.
It was Efren.
Yeah.
Efren.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was a Walmart greeter and he had the pipe. I was just thinking of pipes. I'm not a druggie, but I just thought pipes. But no, the Christmas, like doing the plays and stuff is cool because I remember like when I was at church, we would do that. Mm-hmm. Nowhere near that level. Mm-hmm. It was us kids in the youth group that were putting on the play. So it was terrible. Right. But I remember I was in, because our church was very small. There's maybe 30 to 50 people. We'll say 50 at most.
Like families or people?
People, I don't know. They're with families. So like total, like including kids, 50, we'll say.
Wow.
It was probably small.
It was a small church. Yeah.
It was very small. It was like a little Foursquare.
That's not a bad thing. Though.
It was cool. I loved it. Like I liked that. I don't like these big
mega churches where it's totally informal and you feel like it's more about the
because our pastor was super cool. I think I've talked about him. His name was Pastor Marshall. He had long hair, had his earrings pierced. Like he was an ex-biker. Like our sister church was a biker church. It was dope. Like they were really cool people. But like, we do the plays. We do like the Easter and then we did like Christmas and stuff. But it was nowhere near the level of like a live nativity or that sense. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
I would love to take the kids to something like that.
I'll have to see if I think they're still doing it because I haven't gone.
JJ asked about church and he asked why we don't go, and I don't. Like you said, I'm not anti like church, but I'm not like churches. I just grew up in that environment. I was just having this conversation with Sadia last night. I made a Sadia and Alicia breakfast for dinner, right? And so me and Sadia were just sitting there, and we'd start talking about just random stuff, and then church got brought up, and I was like, no, I grew up in church, and like I'm not against it. I'm not against the religion things, and I know to each their own on that stuff, but I don't know why I don't take my kids. I don't know if it's because I grew up in that environment. It was just so much stuff being pushed on you,
So I know for me,
you know what I mean?
I went through an experience in like high school where I just kind of came to face with some religious ideas that weren't my own that I kind of took on for a while.
Yeah.
And kind of came to from that and really was thinking, is this what I really believe that religion or God is?
That's how I was, yeah.
And I realized from that experience, and I haven't really left that experience or left that epiphany.
Yeah.
Institutions that man hold and that they create, because in my belief, churches, no matter what they are or when they started, are all man-based.
Well, you think about it, you go back in the Bible, it's all, congregation. Church, should be just people getting together.
Right. And actually, in the very beginning, churches were, for Christianity, it was people hiding because Christianity was not okay in the beginning. So it was people in hiding, getting together to talk about it. So I don't have anything against it per se, but why I personally don't enjoy going to church is my feeling is the whole point of Jesus dying on the cross and the symbolism of some of the events that were to have happened at that point was supposed to bring you more directly in a relationship with God and less of needing to go through other people to get to God. If you need that, I don't have any issue with anybody doing what's right for them. But what I've seen is a lot of it, especially the larger a church or an institution gets, the more people that are involved, man is fallible. God may not be, but man certainly is.
Oh, dude.
So my feeling is
those mega churches are terrible.
Look at some of the atrocities that have happened at the hands of churches, whether it be war related, apartheid related.
What was that big war? It's an old war. Oh, like the Knights Templar and all that shit.
The Crusades.
Yeah, the Crusades. I mean, they were killing people.
Yep.
In the name of Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
that's hard for me.
History is that's man. That's not God. God had nothing to do with it.
You know what I need you to do? I need you to murder about 30,000 people.
And you can justify just about anything if you think it's for God.
Well,
but that's where man and their own issues come into play. And it's just, to me, the larger a church gets, the more danger there is in that.
Oh, I believe it. That's why I like the small church.
Yeah, I mean, it's still recording, right? Good.
Yeah, it's still recording. It's just virus threat detection, stupid. But no, like you're saying, like the bigger the church, because like I said, we went to a small church, which is very cool because you felt like you're part of something, right? Everyone knew each other. We'd all there'd be times like someone would do something, so we'd go to their house. Like there's
pretty personal.
Yeah, because there was Phil and I forget what his wife's name was. They were my brother and sister loved these people. They were like older. Like it was like their grandma, grandpa in a sense, the way they were, and they were just the sweetest people. So we'd do they'd have little barbecues at their house, so it just felt good, like
kind of like family, right?
Yeah. So one of my uncles went to a much larger church, like it was very large, like to the point where like they televised, right?
Like a mega church, and almost a point, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And that just felt. You just
informal.
It didn't feel like you felt awkward.
It's like you're going
even like. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. I was cutting you off.
Even when you go to like the youth group was so huge. It's like kids were kind of dicks here and there. Like kids are. Right. But like the youth group I went to was like 8 to 10 of us, and we were just real. A lot of us became like one of my best friends. His name's Mike. Still a really good. Not a good. We've grown apart, but he's still a friend of mine. But that's how I met him, and you just, you had this more tight knit community in a sense.
Right.
But then you get these mega churches and it's just like, okay, we're going to break up to deacons and this and this and this. You need to talk to the pastor. You need to go through some channels.
See, this is the thing. And this goes to any larger church that where I get the issue is the larger the institution, in my view, the more insulated the leader becomes, and in my view, the more into themselves they become, because I don't see how you can have, and maybe that's me being judgmental, maybe that's me being unfair, but in my view, to serve God, it's not about the number of people that are in your congregation. If anything, it should be less, a smaller congregation. Like, I don't know why if one person has so much sway over a flock of people that you can get a mega church of 160,000 seats packed.
Joel Holstein.
Well, yeah, not to name names, but
yeah,
at some point you're really more about yourself, and there's no way that doesn't go to your ego.
Oh, 100.
And the second it goes to your ego, it's not about God. I mean, there's just no way to me that you maintain godliness when there's no way that you're not focused on sales or on getting that.
You're going for profit.
You're going for every week having that place packed, and you're going to say it's to serve God and it's this and that. It's really your ego. Well, you need to have that place packed so that you justify it and you feel good about yourself. So I don't buy that. And
I'm with you there.
With these multinational churches, there are a lot of them, and I won't name names, but when you have like a city on the other side of the world that is like, its own country, and horrible things have happened around the world.
Well, there's that Netflix show on something called Vatican Girl or whatever.
I watched that.
I haven't watched that one yet.
I'm not
Is that pretty
shocked.
good?
Yeah. I mean, all of it is just, it plays into this storyline that we know is true. And we know it's true because we know what's in
they have their own rules and shit.
The Pope today, not like this day, but our current Pope went into a group of cardinals. This was in the news maybe like a year ago or less. And he told them, I know some of you want me dead. And this wasn't about child sex abuse or anything else. It was about financial fraud. And he was saying, I know that some of you want me dead, because of me wanting to reform some of these things.
Yeah, because he's a decent pope. I think.
Well,
this
he's
pope
a decent pope, and he really came out of the fact that the last pope
wasn't. So good.
I mean, he essentially resigned. He didn't. He went into like early retirement, but there were a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
like he hit a lot of shit. He was okay. The pope before him was in the Holocaust. He was a Nazi youth, and then he allowed things to be hidden. There was a lot going on that it was good for him to leave.
Yeah,
this guy came in. He's a Jesuit priest, which means that he believes in kind of minimalism. He's not about things or about money
the way you would think,
which
like
I really
someone
like.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's interesting. I mean, he's fallible. He's not perfect, I'm sure, but
everyone is,
right.
Yeah.
But has tried to push some reforms, and for him to go into something so holy and so wonderful, and to have to say, "Some of you want me dead," that's pretty telling of the fact that a church is a church. It's a building with people.
Those Cardinals, some of those Cardinals are probably next in line, and they're like, "No, we need to make things back what we want."
Rich.
Yeah,
they are lining their pockets.
You're messing with my money,
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Italy. It might be Rome, but it's Italy. I mean, there's corruption there. There's mafia. Maybe I don't know immediately now, but
I'm sure there's like a mafia within the church.
Well,
I think there is actually.
You'll learn in that.
There's a thing called
a lot of little connections there, and who knows? I don't know if it's.
I heard this on a podcast. Something like the gay mafia, like within within them.
It was in the Vatican.
Yeah.
So
or something like that.
There was a story where
it was.
I don't know about a mafia, but there were stories, and I think they were verified. I don't remember at this point. So
I'm just going off what I heard. This
please
is what I'm
do
saying.
your own research, but
it was very interesting the way I heard it.
Based on the things that we know for sure, there were a group of homosexual priests, which I don't care. I don't think that's a problem.
No, I don't think that's a problem.
But they would go to these massive orgies in the Vatican. And it was like secret because obviously that's time to me. My feeling is at least they were doing it with adults.
Hey.
But I mean, it's
can you imagine banging at the Vatican?
How many people do you think entered that life because they were told they were evil and they were sinful and shameful, and they went to get healed, and then the belief that because
and then they became more evil,
and then they just were who they were.
Yeah,
you don't not be gay because you become a priest.
No,
I don't
you
think that changes. You can say I'm wrong, but there have been an awful lot of pedophiles and other things that have happened that have been reported and validated that. It's verified. You don't change just because you become a priest, at least not most people. So if you're gay, you're still going to be gay. You're just celibate, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're still going to have
supposed to be celibate.
You're still going to have these feelings.
We have a priest in our own community that apparently loved a woman a little too much. And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, it's just, I don't know. My point, I'm gotten way off.
I get what you're saying, though, because... getting back kind of to the point though, like I saw this clip of them talking to this, and I don't know who the pastor. He was mad because it was a headline, something about basically calling his like congregation like little poor because they couldn't buy him a plane or buy him something.
He wanted a watch,
right?
He wanted a very expensive watch, and he said, "I can tell how much you don't love Jesus by the fact that I don't have this watch."
Yeah. And then there was another one where they interviewed this guy, and they're like, "Why do you need a flight?" Well, I can't take commercial flights. I need to take a private jet. And I'm like,
it's about image. No, it's not.
You don't need to do all that shit.
So if you're in the image of Jesus, if you're trying to be what Jesus was,
you better get on a donkey and fucking.
Jesus had really nothing, right? He wasn't a rich guy. He hung out with poor people.
What did Jesus do in the temple because of all this stuff? He flipped the tables
and all that, right?
Because of what they were doing, which some of these pastors pretty much are doing.
America is all about wealth and money.
Yeah.
Jesus was not. Half of the reason he was flipping those tables is because they were turning profits. They were doing betting and gambling, different things inside the temple. And it pissed him off. And he flipped these tables over and was like, this is not sacrament.
Can you see Jesus grabbing somebody by the throat? Listen, motherfucker, you need to knock this shit up. He lifts him up.
No!
He uses his Jesus strength and lifts him up.
Oh, man. I tell you, it's like he's like a WWE wrestler.
Yeah. Jesus looked skinny, but he was strong. He was a carpenter.
Boy, I tell you.
No, the one thing before we get off the whole religion thing.
Yeah.
one thing that I always found weird, and this is something even when I was a kid, I remember like we'd get like Jehovah Witness and, you know, whatever. Church is church, but my mom would like get upset and like slam the doors in their faces and stuff. And I'm just like, we're supposed to be Christian, you know, that's seems kind of counterproductive, but whatever. But then like hearing other people like, no, that religion's wrong, this religion's wrong. But then I'm like, you guys realize, like, just read the story. You guys all have this story.
It's the same.
It's the same
story.
fucking story.
Yeah.
We call him God. You call him Muhammad. You call him, you know, Yeh or whatever, Yahweh or whatever, Yahweh or something like that. I think it is, or something like that. Like all the stories are the same. At the time, you know, these are in different parts of the world. So yeah, some of the views might be a little different, but like most of the time, the story's the same.
Well,
so you
guys
look
at it,
it's the same religion.
So Judaism was the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So the Old Testament, I'm sure there's more text to it, but that's Judaism.
Yeah.
Jesus is born. If you're Christian, you believe that Jesus was God, right?
Well, he is God.
So then you have the disciples,
one and the same,
right?
Yeah.
The Bible, and that's the New Testament, and that is Christianity. So that takes Judaism, incorporates it, and builds on it with, okay, now you have Jesus.
Yeah.
And he is the savior that was talked about in Judaism. Judaism doesn't believe that Jesus, they believe that he was special or
he
whatever,
was a prophet.
But they don't believe that he was the second coming of God.
Yeah, they don't believe
they don't believe that. Christians do believe that. Then you had Islam that came out of Christianity. So they have the tradition of Judaism, they have the tradition of Christianity, and they believe that all of that they do believe that Jesus was a prophet, but they believe that Muhammad was also a prophet.
Yeah.
So then they build on that more. So it's all, like you said, this one strand that connects back to the beginning.
Yeah. If you look at the root, though, it's all the same. It's
right.
like,
well, that's the reason why in the oldest texts we have the same base stories of great floods and all these different things.
Exactly.
And,
so
yeah, we're not really a religious podcast.
We're not,
but
this is just my views.
Apparently, we care a lot about it.
I don't know. I just, you know, it's just one of those things I know, and that's why I don't go to church. So I'm just, like, if I found
it's tough. I
think one day I wouldn't mind taking my kids to like a.
There's a little Episcopal church near us that I've wanted to check out.
I think the youth group aspect of church was really cool, just because it was cool to get.
I'd like to be aware, and I feel bad that my kids aren't aware at all. Like, I think I've robbed them of that aspect. of it. At least I had a foundation in it to make my own choice. I kind of made my choice for my kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not even really what I believe. I don't not believe. I just don't really believe in institutions. I believe in.
I can believe in.
I don't know.
There's a higher power somewhere. I believe there's something.
There's got to be, or else I don't want to be here.
But, you know, I don't know.
No,
now, is there like, you know, something with superpowers? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, see, and I always say this. I have to be Christian because I was raised in it. So the idea, if you were raised Christian, the idea of, honestly, in my mind, like as much as I can say, like, I don't know. In my heart, I have to believe because I can't really accept that I would go to hell. Like, you know, if you're raised with this idea that if you don't believe, you will go to hell, it's like, that's scary enough that no
fire
matter
and brimstone.
It's and no matter how great your church is and not that way. Like, I did not go to a church that was that way, but the foundation of Christianity is you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and that's all it takes, and you go to heaven. If you don't accept him, there's no way in.
Yeah. Well, because he's forgiven. So you can be an axe murderer, serial killer.
As long as you apologize,
you're going to heaven.
I accept you, God.
So you might, one day we might all die, and Dahmer's up in heaven. If he, you know?
I watched the documentary, and I watched the series. He apologized.
He said he was sorry.
He said he was sorry, and he accepted Jesus, and he got dunked in water. That means...
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean... Whatever. I'm not going to have an opinion on that. But let's move on. BMI, body mass index. We were talking about this earlier.
Bullshit mass index.
So I Googled it, and I am supposed to be at 6'4". I've lost 40 plus pounds.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that. According to BMI, I'm fucking fat.
I know. I'm overweight too.
It's like, you're a piece of shit. Go have a heart attack, you fatty. That's pretty much what the BMI is telling me. Like, hey, roly-poly. Like,
let me see here. I'm not looking at BMI, but I'm looking at mine because I don't know exactly.
According to, so I'm like, I was at 260. I'm now at about a solid.
So I've lost about almost 40 too. Right? I'm so like, I lost about 37 pounds. Right? Yeah.
So my BMI says that I am still technically overweight. I'm not obese anymore.
No.
Which is fine because I was overweight before, like for sure. I was probably borderline obese, but if not obese. But
Yeah.
This is like saying that as great as I've done, and as like really I'm to the point, I'm as almost as low as like the lowest I wanted to go. And I'll probably keep going because my body's just doing that anyway.
Yeah.
But it wants me to get down to like 200 pounds. I would still technically be overweight. And I'm like, if I'm 200 pounds, I'm getting to the point that
you're going to look like Christian Bale.
Yeah.
From The Machinist.
The Machinist, I'm going to have sunken eyes and I'm going to be cross-eyed. And I'm going to be
Tom, you okay?
Yeah.
You on that heroin or what?
I'm going to be falling over and breaking bones and like, yeah.
Well, like I told you, man, that windstorm we had, like you would have snapped,
I would have flown
bro.
away. I just
you're supposed to be, so 200, that was like low end, right?
I'm still overweight at 200.
I know. Is that like almost a healthy
I would
weight?
still have like a 1% to go to get there.
So that, like for me to be under to healthy weight, I need to be 155, 160, which my goal weight's 165, which is still overweight, right?
Right.
To be like middle BMI, I got to be 130 pounds.
Yeah,
which,
I have to be like 160 pounds.
bro, I haven't been 130 pounds since high school. I was like a little dude. Like there was nothing on me.
I just am like, if I worked out enough to gain any real muscle, there's no way I could, because when I was fairly muscular and then lost a ton of fat the last time, I was 186 at my lowest. And that was at the point I did not want to get any skinnier I didn't want to be any lighter than that. That was like getting to the point of ridiculously light.
Well, that's how I feel about my weight. Like 165, I'll be cool with.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, and I was really in decent shape. Like, don't get me wrong. But it's like, at what point is enough? And I just, it's bullshit. I Googled it and they said BMI is bullshit. So why do we go off of it?
I don't know, because like what we were just discussing previously before, not the church shit, but off air, like I'll say off air.
Yeah.
These NFL players are these like athletes who are just like stupid in shape, like just ripped all to hell. You got guys that are my height, 5'8", but like 215, 225, but they are just solid muscle,
jacked,
just a little tiny little muscle rolling around.
Right.
Well, they're overweight. Sorry. You little fat asses.
Right.
You better lose your weight.
And truly they are. I mean, if you look at it, their lifespan typically isn't as long and there are health effects, but
you have 0% body fat, but you're
right. But muscle can be, and your heart has to pump to all of that tissue. Right. But
muscle weighs more than fat.
Regardless of that, like
that's what they say.
It's bullshit. Science should be science. Medicine should be based on science. To go off of some archaic system that just makes people feel bad about themselves, I think is the dumbest thing.
I was about to be like Jesus and flip a table when I found out I was overweight.
In like 95 or something, they changed it to be more in line with international standards. Well, like I said, international standards have people fucking smoke and don't eat. So
yeah, I just heard this comedian.
They don't eat at all because they're impoverished nations. Like, give me a fucking break.
Right?
No.
These third world countries and stuff that are people.
And the reality, I want to know, where's your optimal health? Like, where are you actually at a point where you're not doing damage to your body and nothing is being hurt?
Just all you can do. I'm going to live like an Italian or someone and just smoke cigarettes and
my brother and I like this
eat
video.
cheese or something.
Like,
I don't know.
He's acting like he's like a German kid, or maybe he is a German kid. I don't know. He's like, we're going to eat something really cool, like a cigarette and a baguette, and then we're going to go and then have something really cool, like a piece of chocolate or something. It's just funny. He goes through his meal day, and it's like these ridiculously unhealthy things, but he's super skinny. It's great because it's just.
But that's what's crazy is you can be this skinny mini
and be in awful health
and be terrible health.
Yeah, right.
But there's guys that are like little big dudes that are probably super healthy somehow.
Yeah. Some of it's genetic. I mean, there's no
I think some
way
of it's
to
genetics.
say that there's not a healthy portion of it that's totally genetic.
Like you're 650 pounds, but you got like your heart's perfect. You got no issues. Like,
right. And I do think no matter what, you get to certain levels of anything and it does damage.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
But like, no, like some people, I told you a story about a guy I knew that was super skinny, ate very healthy, exercised daily. I mean, was very regimented in his life because he had to be. He had such bad high cholesterol, like the bad cholesterol.
Yeah.
Naturally in his system, there was nothing he could do. He was on medication for it, everything. And he just knew, the doctors told him, at some point you're going to have a massive heart attack. So just do what you can to mitigate that as long as
what
possible.
What do you do? Like, if you heard
he was
that,
like in his 30s, and he's just like, yeah, I just have to.
Has he had one?
I have no idea.
Oh.
He was a parent of a kid
Look him up
with a long time ago. So
no, that's terrible though. Like, how do you take that?
I mean, I felt for him because I'm just like, you just know that you're a ticking time bomb. And really, the guy was in immaculate health. He was very skinny because he ate carefully. He didn't want a lot of muscle. He wanted muscle, but he didn't want bulky muscle, right? He wanted to be lean.
That's what I would want.
Healthy. And he was. I mean, he ran like a decent amount daily. He ate the things that would lower cholesterol or give you higher levels of good cholesterol, all that.
Didn't matter.
And it just didn't matter. I mean, it did matter in the sense of elongating his life, but
how do you take that? Like, a doctor's like, I mean, yeah, you can do what you want, but any day now.
Sorry, dude. Like, and maybe in like 100 years we'll have gene therapies that can maybe fix some of that, but it's like, that would really suck. I feel very fortunate.
Good. Keep running and shit, but any day you're gonna die.
Yeah, run or don't. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like, thanks, doc.
Smoke or not, like, you're gonna die. So,
jeez, I mean,
I guess that's life.
That
right?
would be scary. So anyway, I feel for people that are in those types of situations, like,
and that's got to be sort of rare, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's the norm. But then you have people, like you said, I mean, they can smoke their whole life. They don't exercise. They don't do anything. They live to their 83.
Yeah, you'll see.
They just die.
Jean Grey, she's 110 years old. What was your diet? Bourbon, cigarettes.
What's your advice?
Damn.
One Coca-Cola a day.
Oh, yeah, okay. One Coca-Cola and some schneef.
Hey, it's like the late 1800s medicine. Yeah, right. Give your baby some whiskey and here's some powder for you. It'll make you feel better.
I know. What if that is the secret to longevity?
It might be. Yeah, I'm going to
some whiskey and Coke.
You some Coca-Cola. It's got a
Mix
little zing in it that'll keep you going.
Right?
No, it's nuts. And then they started to prescribe like uppers to people. Like, oh, you feel like
I do
unhappy?
think like
okay,
once like pharmaceuticals started getting in and like some of that stuff. And not saying that it's all bad for you, but I think some of that. I don't know.
The problem.
The conspiracy in brain of me is like, I think some of that. Obviously, it's good that we have like medicine now for certain things, but I think some shit got designed and now it's like, well, you got to take this meds.
I don't look at it so much as a conspiracy, but I do agree with you.
You know what I mean?
The way I look at it is market based.
Like, we need to make money on this.
People, sorry guys, but I think mostly people are fucking lazy. And,
oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't mean that cruelly because I am definitely in that boat.
America's the laziest country on earth.
We would rather take a pill to fix a problem than actually address the problem.
I do not want to take pills.
I have researched enough and cared enough about my health recently, not for a long time. Believe me, I'm not someone that can talk about this with any and definitely not saying I'm better than anybody else because I, more than anyone, have probably struggled to be healthy and to give a shit. And now I do because I feel like I have to, blah, blah, blah. But whatever. My point being, I'm listening to that guy I've talked about 100 times. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway.
Pay attention to everything but his name.
The guy's great. And really, he said, I mean, a lot of these medications, whether it be diabetes medication, heart medication, whatever, a lot of that can be addressed. Now, not necessarily on your own. You have to go through a doctor and all that. But if you can get your weight down, if you can get healthier habits, you can usually actually mitigate the causing problem of those things versus just, we know that if you're on medication for diabetes so that you can keep eating what you want and not exercising, whatever, the diabetes is going to steadily get worse.
Yeah.
The medication is going to cover up the symptoms. You're going to continue to kill your body. And
or your body's going to get used to that medication. They'll have to change to a stronger.
The problem is like, no matter what you do with diabetes, for example, you're going to continue to have resistance to insulin. It's going to get worse and worse in your body. You're going to have dips in blood sugar. So you're going to eat bad things to level out that blood sugar. Eventually, your eyes could go out.
Your feet.
You could get, right, where you're going to end up losing your feet. You're going to end up with kidney failure. Those things are almost guaranteed at the end. if you're not somewhat careful, unless your genes are just good enough that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But
in reality,
it's like,
I mean, most people.
The reality is we prescribe medication. I'm not a doctor, but our culture prescribes medication because most people won't actually make the change.
Like, ooh,
at some point,
give me that med. I'm lazy. I don't want to fucking go war.
Right. And it doesn't mean that everybody's lucky enough that they won't need some medication.
Mm-hmm.
But medication that regulates you where your body just can't do it, but you're putting the right things in your body and you're getting exercise and you're actually addressing the causal issue is very different than just masking symptoms. And that's all our culture does as a whole, is just hide symptoms so you can keep doing what you're doing. I take this so I can eat pizza. The pizza's the problem. It's like, and I don't mean that you can't ever eat anything. Don't get me wrong.
No, I get what you're saying though.
But I'm saying, like, if your goal is to get to where, because that's really where I was this lie to myself, like, I just like doing this stuff. So, like, I'll just get to this point where I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
In moderation, you can do just about anything. But if every day your diet is all this crap food, you're not giving your cells what they need.
Yeah, you're not giving your body what it needs
and
in general.
You're packing fat away that then causes all these other issues. It's amazing the residual effects that has on your whole body, and it's just
it's pretty crazy.
Bad, but
no, I won't do pills. I'll do all I can not to take pills.
Right. I'm going to go back to the doctor here in a few days, and if it's like, okay, your blood pressure is still too high,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask him questions about it. I want to know long term, if I'm on this, like, what is the side effect? But there is a point, like, am I going to do more damage by not taking it or by taking it? I mean, you've got to look at both sides. If in 80 years, maybe I'll have some side effect. Well, I'm not going to be here in 80 years anyway.
Yeah. How do you know?
But if my heart is going to start doing damage soon, then I need to get that down. And then maybe after a while of continuing exercise and diet, maybe we reevaluate and I don't need that. I hope I don't need it at all.
Yeah. I'll find out. I finally go to the doctor the end of the month. 28th is my appointment.
I'm going.
But I'm pretty sure they're going to, like every other fucking doctor visit. It's like, oh, hey, I'm your doctor. Okay. Well, you have a good day.
Are you coming to the guy that I recommended?
Mm-hmm. It's like a 10-minute visit, I'm sure.
It's going to be fast because they have to. They don't have a choice.
Well, no, doctors have to.
I will tell you, like, he does not make you feel rushed or like he doesn't care.
Well, I mean, I would love to get blood work so I can know what's going on.
He'll prescribe that, because you haven't ever done it. He'll want to get that.
He'll be just like, meh.
Yeah. No,
but the doctors, there's just, that's why I don't like going to the doctor, because it's like, they don't give a fuck. They're just like, 10 minutes.
All right,
I gotta
if you live in our area, he's an ARMP named Scott Roberts.
Yeah.
He is awesome. I have recommended him to you, Orlando. My brother just happened to be going to the same doctor.
Yeah.
We're both very happy. He will talk to you like a person. He doesn't talk down to you. He's like, yeah, man, I get it. Like, he will tell you if he's been through the same thing. Like, he's told me issues that he's had that related to issues I've had. You never feel like he doesn't care. And he'll tell you, look, if you feel like you want to get some blood work done, let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's take a look and see what might be happening. Yeah. You never feel talked down to. That's the most important.
I mean,
thing.
I'm
and
excited,
you don't feel, even though you are a number, because that's the way that the system works.
I work in healthcare.
To
I know
him,
how.
Personally, you don't. He's very good at making you not feel like he's just rushing you out the door.
Yeah. No, I work in healthcare, and I can tell you, providers, they have a time limit. They have to be with the patient.
And
it's
sadly,
like 8 to 10 minutes or something
it's
crazy.
It's not the doctor's fault.
They have to keep seeing patients.
But then I get these surveys from the health center.
I think it's the doctors because it's not the doctor's fault, but it's the institution.
Yep, exactly. So the hospital will then send out a survey. Did your doctor go over all this with you? Did your doctor make you feel? So it's like basically the doctor's under the pressure to make you feel like you're valid and you're not rushed while they're being told you better get them out the door fast.
Yeah, we need to get more money.
And that is just money making. That's all.
Oh, dude,
and that's the institution, not the doctors.
You ever go to the doctors and like you're like, I sprained my ankle, and they give you a wrap, and they're like, okay, that wrap's going to be $250.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I could have went to Walmart and got that same ace bandage for 22
and that's
cents.
Where I don't understand how hospitals apparently in Washington are losing money. I would really like them to explain how they're losing money. Are they losing money compared to just the money, the amount of money they made last year? Is it losses compared to the year before?
I'm sure it's something like that.
Because there's no way with charging, $30 for a Tylenol.
Bro, I tore my Achilles and I got a boot, and that boot was more than a pair of Jordans.
Yeah.
I paid for this little piece of plastic that I found at not at Walmart, but I would go to Goodwill. Me and my wife like going to Goodwill. I came after the fact. I've come across this boot 1,000 times for $1.50.
Yeah. My brother and I were talking about healthcare the other day.
Stupid.
Insurance has gotten way worse in the last 20 years and way more expensive.
Oh, dude.
Hospitals claim they're losing money, but they're always packed with patients, and they charge an arm and a leg for everything. I just want, and I'm so sick and tired of the parties always arguing over it, getting shut down, but to do anything about it, they don't agree on what the cause is. What is the cause? Why? What's changed in the market where our insurance sucks compared to what it used to be, and it's way more expensive? Explain that market-wise. Don't bullshit us. Why is that? And then on the flip side, why is it? How is it possible? What are the expenses of these institutions where they have such exorbitant charges? And I know for a fact they had their charges because people that have worked at these places have seen it. The bill comes in and people are like, we didn't get that. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we'll take that off. How many people don't notice that and pay $60 extra for something?
I can guarantee
that's a systemic issue that hospitals do, and you can't tell me that at some point that's not negligence.
Did we give him ibuprofen for $7.50?
Well, you did. These little charges. It's fraudulent, and it happens all the time. And maybe it's not by design, but it seems like at a certain point it's by design. And I just want to know, someone that's not going to bullshit, explain where that those market conditions are, and if that's the case, it's not a sustainable system, and what do we do about it? That's my question. I'm not convinced one way or the other of a private or a public health system, but I do know that what we have isn't working, and I do know that certain things need some government involvement. So that's my question.
No, I think everything needs government involvement because it works.
I'm kidding. I'm a huge advocate of a private market when it comes to real economic issues.
Yeah.
I don't see healthcare as an economic issue. I see it as much broader and deeper than that.
They bring in a lot of money, man.
So they do, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is someone's health a dollar amount, or is it the health of a human being?
No, it's a money thing.
There's sort of a moral issue I have with simply being,
and I don't think it's like doctors and stuff are like
no
about the money, but I do think hospitals are
hospital administrators, and I
about
think
the money 100%.
Insurance providers. I think anybody on the financial side, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
to boil it down to being nothing but a financial institution.
You're a number when you walk into that hospital.
Exactly.
You're just a number.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
and then it's on providers to act like you're not, so that people don't feel like cattle. Right. There's something wrong with that. Now, I don't know. Like a lot of people are like, it should be a public. I don't know that that's true. I'm not somebody that really is so black and white about it. But my question just is, it's failing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is today is not right. I shouldn't pay as much as I do for crappier health.
I know, right? I don't know, actually, because I don't even fucking go to the doctor.
Nuts and bolts. Any other field, if you are performing worse, giving a worse product time and time again, year after year after year, you wouldn't succeed.
You'd get shut down.
But people have to have health care.
Yeah.
And that is the point where I'm asking, what's going to solve that?
Like you said, it's so expensive.
It's very expensive for half of what you used to get. My parents had insurance at one point, and I'm not saying that this is realistic, but they were double covered to the point when we went to the doctor, they got cut a check. They were double covered beyond the amount of money. I mean,
dude, I can't even cover my family because I wouldn't be able to work. Yeah, and I've said that a million times. Like
we used to have much better healthcare than we do now, and there's just market conditions that they have to
and that's
be
why
fraudulent or something.
Go to Mexico and get my doctors
Botox.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my Botox and my boob job in Mexico.
Apparently, I'm very angry today. Healthcare,
he's an ABL.
Churches, I don't know, but.
They're all in it together.
Yeah, man.
No, it's big farm, man.
Well, there's that too. But
well, it's all. I don't know. They all fuck. It's all money. At the end of the day, it's a money thing.
But that's when leaving something just free market. That's where the market. I'm like, no, there are conditions in markets that aren't realistic.
Money. I want to make money. Yeah. I want to make $1.
Well, look at the fact. Okay, like grocers. I was talking to my brother about this too. Grocers and oil companies have made record profits over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
They claim it's because of inflation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your price increases were in line with inflation, your profit margin wouldn't have grown at all.
Yeah.
So it's not inflation.
No.
I mean, a zero net gain would be inflation. Net gain beyond that. And I understand if you can make a little more, but
a lot
there's
more.
kind of a point.
Yeah.
And when people are hurting, probably not economically the best time to keep raising your prices.
Which
like if you actually want to be a part of the greater good, balance out your net gain.
Yeah, because you go to grocery store now, man, shit's expensive.
Well, and I understand
gas is
maybe it's not that easy.
Right now.
You know, I try to be devil's advocate too. Maybe it takes data and time to know where that net even point is. But I don't know. Some things just feel like, yeah, I mean, the market's there, right? If it's purely a market-based system, then you're going to get screwed sometimes as a consumer. So
I don't know. You go to the store, man, their shit's out. But it's like $500 to fucking get a gallon of milk now.
But we've got, we still have issues with transportation across the globe and all. I mean, the COVID stuff is still rolling through the market.
Yeah.
So we have those issues, but then we have tons of people with extra money that they got or whatever. I mean, there's just a lot of economic issues, but
fuck economics.
The big thing is it's so much in our head.
Yeah.
If people would just not be stupid sometimes, and if everybody would act responsibly, which isn't going to happen. But if they would, recessions and all that could be dealt with so much faster. But the expectation, there was an article not that long ago that was talking about the expectation of increased prices causes companies to continue to charge more and the consumer to expect to pay more. So if they're going to pay more, they're going to charge more.
Yeah,
right?
Once you stop paying, they're going to be like, oh shit, maybe we should lower this shit.
Right. So there are definitely, I mean, this is going to get too technical, so I'm going to stop. But it's just, I don't know.
If you see the price go up, stop paying. Maybe they'll fucking wouldn't be like, oh shit, we're starting to lose. We're actually really starting to lose money.
We're killing ourselves. Where, I mean, there's some things you have to buy. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's even more complicated than I understand.
You know what? I'm going to do, but we don't need toilet paper.
Yeah. Remember when we used to wipe our hands, wipe our asses with our hands in the beginning of COVID? Let's do that.
So this is going to change subjects hard right here.
That's fine.
So when I grew up, there would be a time where we didn't have toilet paper and we used a fucking, this is so gross, a communal fucking cloth that we would use.
How did you cleanse it?
We would just rinse it out in the sink, bro. Like, I'm not even joking.
You would wipe your ass and with rinse the shit out into the sink.
Yes.
And then put it down for the next person.
Be ready for the next person to wipe their booty. And that's disgusting. I can honestly, and I my brother and sister can vouch if they remember this, but I remember there'd be times where we would have to use a washcloth to wipe our ass.
I don't blame people for not having the money for it. I get it. I don't know what else to do, but wow, that's not healthy.
But yeah, like, no. So my kids, when you guys think you had it struggle,
you got fucking toilet paper, guys.
Yeah, just remember, I told Alicia this. I wish my kids could have grown up, because now when you're older, you want to give your kids everything, right?
Yeah,
you want your kids to have what you didn't have.
Sure.
Which is one of those things where it's like a gift and a curse in a sense, because you're providing something that you didn't have, but at the same time your kids aren't learning certain things in life. So sometimes what I told her is like, I wish the kids could have gone through
stuff
like what we've maybe gone through when we were growing up, so they could kind of appreciate things a little more.
Well, I'm gonna say I did not go through any of what you did,
but I mean, but your dad instilled in you to appreciate stuff.
We were aware of what my dad didn't have when he was growing up. And he didn't do it in the way of making us feel bad, but he just let us know, like, be grateful for what you have. Not that I always was, but be grateful for what you have because you're very lucky.
Yeah. And
and it was because of the choices he made. He sacrificed a lot to give us the life that we had. So,
and that's that's where I was with my kids. It's just like, hey, not that they're ungrateful and they're like, like,
no, but they are, because they're kids. I mean, when
they don't take the things they get for granted. They take it for granted is what I mean. They don't realize
that it could
the
not
luxuries.
be there. Yeah. And we've been horrible with Elliot, you know, and our side of Elena. Like, they don't get it at all.
No, we give them everything.
Sadly, it doesn't make them stronger, because how much harder is it if that's all you know? And suddenly, like, things that are really luxuries, you feel like they're necessities, and then you don't have them.
Yeah, it's going to make it tough in their life when they get older, when they struggle, because now it's like, oh shit, I didn't think this was like this.
I'm unhappy because I don't have
kids, you know, they don't realize, they always think, oh, you guys got money, you're able to buy this. Well, yeah, but at the same time, we're saving, or, you know, we can't do these things because, you know, we got bills.
Right. Well, and the older we get, like, we do have to think about retirement. We do have to think about living to the end of our life. Like, we can't just pay all the time for everything. Like, some of that money has to go away. Like,
this is true. I don't know. I don't know. Man. That's all I got. Well, I had the thing about teachers. Just, I guess I can end. I don't know. Maybe I can bring that up for an hour.
Save that for next. Yeah.
We can say that for next.
Yeah.
Just, has a teacher ever made you feel like a piece of shit? That's what we're going to talk about.
As a teacher, I certainly hope not, but I know it's happened.
And as a student of a teacher that made me feel like shit, I can say yes, a teacher's made me feel like shit, and I want to fuck her up. I didn't want. No, actually, I'm not even gonna lie. I was pissed. I hated that bitch. That's another topic.
That's a little teaser for next week.
Yeah, a little teaser. But yeah, no, I think we dove into stuff I didn't even think we were going to dive into.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully, this is a good one, guys. Sorry, this was heavier than we anticipated. But
religion.
Sometimes that's
big farm, big church, yo daddy, all that shit.
Yeah, this is a good
big
one.
Big farm and yo daddy. No, we didn't even talk about dads.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a good one.
All right, man.